Hey, welcome to another episode of the Black Out Tips Podcast. I'm your host, Rod. Joined as always by my co-host,
Gary.
and we are live on a Monday. On a Monday,
It does feel like, man, the past few days have all blended together. I'm sorry. They have in my mind mentally. So I was like, yeah, Tuesday.
yeah, it's a Monday, and we're ready to do feedback on a Monday. So that's throwing us off. We normally do this on Saturday.
Yes.
But Saturday we had my uncle's funeral. Rest in peace to my uncle Alan. And that was kind of like an all day situation, and then or most of the day, and then afterwards, because we never went out for Karen's birthday to her favorite restaurant. So we went to her restaurant, and then that was like her birthday dinner.
Yeah, so I ate and drank, and I had a great time.
Yeah, and then of course she fell asleep when we got home.
Of course.
Which, totally fine. And then Sunday, we watched the women's championship. Congratulations to South Carolina Gamecocks. Shout out to Dawn Staley. Been rooting for Dawn Staley since she was a Charlotte
Sting. Yeah, she was the Sting.
So and I told everybody, like, I love Caitlin Clark. I think she's gonna be great for the women's game. I think now that she took that L, because I just can't imagine anybody. I could not imagine anybody beating South Carolina. It's just, I couldn't. Even when they started off like 15-0 or some shit, I said, it's no way. It's no way. I know they wanted me to believe Ted Lasso was in the crowd and everything.
Come on.
But I couldn't.
I agree with you. Said if Iowa would have beat South Carolina, I'm like, you know what, girl, you is the goddamn GOAT. Yes, you is.
I just would have needed to see it to believe it. I would never believe. I don't believe South Carolina will lose a game until I see 0-0 on the shot clock,
right?
0-0 on the game clock, and they down in the score. Other than that, I feel like they can't be beat, and I feel like they about to run this shit like
for a hot minute.
I feel like they about to run this shit like Tennessee did, like John Wooden's UCLA did. Where it's just gonna be like, if anybody wins a ring, it's just pure happenstance. It's just because you can't depend on 18 to 21-year-olds to be able to consistently do anything. But
right?
Yeah, Dawn and them girls, hats off. But so we did that. Then we went to a Hornets game. And we had like an early Hornets game yesterday. That was fun. We saw my man Danny out there.
We did.
We saw Doug from Locked On Hornets out there.
Just on the whim.
yeah. I knew Danny was gonna be there. I was trying to get him to do the remix to Firestarter. The Hot Firestarter podcast had this, or Firestarter.com podcast, I believe is the real name. They had this thing where Ba, who's a Duke fan, made a song to the tune of the Sanford and Son theme song about Cooper Flagg, who's a recruit that they have coming in, white dude. That's a white American-born player that everyone thinks is going to be great. We'll see. College is crazy.
Yeah,
we'll see.
College, you never know. Like you said, 18-year-olds.
So we'll see. But he made a song where he was like, Cooper Flagg. And so it's like and I said, man, y'all need to make one for Caitlin Clark, because she's white, American-born, and about to take like the women's basketball to another echelon of notoriety. I'm not saying the quality of the game. I'm not saying she's better than all the other players. I'm not saying all that. Just saying that white American people are now interested, and honestly, black people too, because we like to root against them, the white Americans. So now you got people that might watch more WNBA games that weren't going to watch probably any last year. And I wanted him to do like a Caitlin Clark, but she lost. So you can't really do the, she white and she good and all that stuff. So he did a remix that is on Twitter, and was cracking me up, man. We had a good time.
We did.
And even though it was under, not the best circumstances, it was good seeing family and stuff.
I was like a big fan of reunion, man. I seen people I had seen in a long time. It was, you hate it underneath those circumstances, but man, it felt good to see a lot of them.
Yeah, and I got recruited to read like a letter
out the blue too
from Congresswoman Alma Adams about my uncle and condolences to my family. And I didn't know I was gonna be reading anything. I didn't expect to be saying anything, but it was kind of, tough to get up there and have to say anything at such a sad occasion, and I did my best, to make it through just without breaking down and stuff. And I was able to get through it. It was a little tough, give and go at sometimes, but that was interesting. And then the other thing of note is whenever you take the funeral procession to the grave site, to the cemetery, those cops, I believe they love that part of their job.
I think they do too.
Because the sheriff deputies, the way these niggas were doing 100 miles an hour in residential districts. I mean, I want to get there. We all want to get there. I want no interruptions. I get it. You got to stop the traffic so that, all the cars can stay together. I get all that. But man, the way they was just out here on that Fast and Furious.
They was boom.
I'm like, what if like a kid is just crossing the street, a basketball bounces it, like someone will
Sorry
die.
for that kid.
Y'all are going so fast, and I don't know what's like. I don't know why I gotta be this much of a rush. Like, do y'all just need some extra people to help y'all? Like some more cars? Cause boy, they almost sideswiped my cousin. It was crazy. It was crazy out there.
They was flying. One thing I can say about your Uncle Alan, he was really, really loved at the funeral because he drove trucks. And so at the funeral, there was like these two white dudes that came in. There's one white dude, he was in tears, just general. He's just talking to the family in mass. I was like, he was just talking about how good he was and how great he was to work with and stuff like that. I was like, oh, and it just spoke on how much of a great man he was. And the church was packed. Your mom was like, get there early. So we was there early. And yeah, I'm glad we was, because that church was packed. So that's kudos to him and how much he touched people's lives.
Yeah, you could tell that white dude and the dude that came with him had been around a lot of black people, because they had all the right affectations of being like able to come into space but not interlope, but also respectfully, but also they could signify like they understood. So yeah, it was, and it's the thing, I think it comes in waves and stuff. There's moments that are more harder to get through than others. But it's a community thing. It's why we have these traditions and why we need people to be able to grieve and to publicly acknowledge folks. And I really wasn't able to plan much the last few weeks because I just knew this moment was coming, and I just honestly, people was like, we should do this on this, and I'm like, I'll get to that when it's time to get to that. And now I'm starting to plan stuff in the future and be like, all right, cool. I'm gonna be on this show. I'm gonna do that thing. But for a minute, I was just taking everything day by day, and I'm sure there'll be days that are more down than others. But yeah, so that was, like I said, it was under the umbrella of it being a funeral. It was still like good to see people and appreciate the people that's here, and mourn the people that's gone and stuff like that. A lot of people apparently in my family listened to Karen Hunter, because we had multiple people being like, I heard you on Karen Hunter nephew, and
it was several of them. They was like, you was on Karen Hunter show.
So once again, shout out to Karen Hunter.
Shout out to Karen Hunter.
At my own family funeral get together, it was people out there like, oh my goodness, Foolishness Friday. So her reach is big.
It's roll deep, don't it?
And definitely with the black community. So yeah, and it was like, it was cool to talk with people about that stuff too.
It was hilarious when they was telling me. I was like, child, I assume nobody listened, particularly in your immediate family, because like y'all got things to do. Y'all like, oh, y'all little podcast, y'all going about your lives. I'm just surprised that y'all listen.
So all right, that's it kind of for just stuff. We need to get into the feedback, which is what this episode is about. It's about the people that left us comments, voted in the polls, left voicemails. No voicemails today, I didn't see.
Okay.
So, but left voicemails, emails, comments on our website, votes in the poll on Spotify, things like that. We're going to talk about all that stuff, because without y'all, wouldn't be no show.
I know it's so.
And especially those of y'all that took the time out to give us money. Because those people really, make sure they don't even get nothing back. The ones that just give us donations on our website, all they get is a shout out. The official weapon of the show is
Phone jail?
An unofficial sport.
And booty ball.
All right, then let's get to the donations.
May I have your attention? You are now listening to Charlotte's Own Rod and Karen. We welcome the good folks who tie to the Black Diamond Tips.
That's right. New money, new honeys. Falcons Diva, Jason F, Ken M, Derek L W, Zachary Nunn from the Living Corporate Podcast, Lawrence C, Christoph R, Tanisha G, Dotstry J, Preston, aka Team Dro from the Slaying of Ages podcast, Celeste Vaughn B. We got a special donation that I normally don't say the donation amounts, but I have to for this one because it's from Sting, who says, Karen, dearest of all my friends, happy birthday. And it is for $45.
Oh, my age. Thank you, baby.
Mariano hit us with that recurring donation. Adam S, Jason F, Dorothea S, Tyrone M, and lastly, Joe H hit us with that recurring donation. We appreciate y'all. Okay, thank y'all for looking out for us. We without y'all wouldn't be no us. Also, shout out to my Uncle Allen because no secret family showed up.
They did not.
You can't assume
I've
that.
had it happen before. They did not.
You can't assume that.
Yeah,
okay. You never know till the funeral.
Shout
out to my uncle.
Yeah,
for living the right way.
My granddaddy died, and this little boy showed up in front of me. That's your uncle. I say, who my uncle? That little boy. I was like, I guess. I was a lot younger than y'all.
All right, 5-star reviews. Let's talk about them. We got 4 new ones. I may be white, but Rod is right. Well, if it rhymes, it's got to be true. That's the Jesse Jackson corollary of blackness. If it rhymes, it is true. Without Rod, I have no idea which black celebrities are scammers. I'd have given away all my money. Episode 2878. Just some guy you know is the name of the account, and it's from the United States of America. Now, what was episode 2878 of our show? Now I'm curious.
We got to figure it out now.
Cozy Ass Trees was the name of this episode. And it's a feedback episode, so I don't know what we talked about, but it do be some scamming ass people out there. Be careful. Best in the game from Big Bang Theory, who says, best podcast in the game, 5 stars. Thank you. Cherison or C. Harrison says, love y'all. Found Rod on Karen Hunter. I love your show. And Karen, Mrs. Rod, is so sweet and funny. You two are so smart and witty. I just love y'all so much. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. I got to be on Karen Hunter's show for the first time. And normally I'm just giggling and cracking up in the background. But she asked me to be on. I was like, oh, I get to be on the show today.
Yeah. Karen was on the show. Roy Wood Jr. was there. It was fun. It's always fun. And Karen's normally working that time, so she can't really just hop on, but it was fun. Let's see. Last one is from Big Kev 1101, who says Rod and Karen are hot. Rod and Karen, I don't know where to start. I heard you on Karen Hunter, followed you to Game Theory, Draped Maniacs. That last episode was fire with the both of you. And now I'm an avid listener of the Blackout Tips.
Oh.
Y'all represent the dirty South from a perspective that's lighthearted, funny, and exudes compassion. Thank you. That is a hell of a description, and I love it. I love it. That's really what I hope people get from the Blackout Tips, you know? Like, I hope all three. I hope people feel like it's lighthearted. I hope people think it's funny. And I hope it does exude compassion, because I feel like that's a finite resource, and we running out these days. People are less compassionate than ever, and we can still have fun. Thanks for keeping us informed and entertained. Kudos to Charlotte's dynamic duo, Big Kev from the 804 with the arm flex emoji. I see you, player. Appreciate you. Strong. All right, let's get into the show feedback and the comments left on our website. Now, we only had 3 episodes that we posted last week.
Mm-hmm.
But I said we could either keep doing episodes or we could go ahead and do like a feedback show now. Karen said, let's do feedback show. And I'm with it. Let's get this part out the way before we start talking about new stupid stuff.
Right.
I do want to talk about J. Cole. I got things to say. Well, they can wait till we have another day to record.
Yes.
All right. So the episode 2882 was hashtag Team Karen was the title, because all of y'all didn't care if I died in the hospital or not. Y'all just want Karen to be happy, and as long as she get her breakfast, y'all don't care if there's no podcast to come back to. Y'all will be fine. Abia says the German directness can absolutely be hurtful sometimes. Sometimes it's amusing, sometimes it's nuts. I keep my judgment to myself about people's appearance, for example, unless I'm seriously asked by them. It's best. Overall, expect more directness when visiting Germany, but the upside is when you get a compliment about anything, it's pretty surely sincere. I mean, I guess that's the upside. I mean, if you got to take something with it, lie to me.
Talk to me nicely.
Abby says, my daughter is friends with a girl who has an American mother. She said when she says something is okay, she tries to communicate that something is like a C- in school grades. Germans being so cautious with praise, understanding something okay to be a B+. It's just the way it is. I'm used to it. I wouldn't say it's my culture because I don't even know for sure what my culture is. Okay, message.
Right.
Tanya W42 says, while I try to stay cool when I encounter celebrities, if I ran into Peter Weller, I don't know if I can stop myself from saying, oh, wow, Buckaroo Banzai. I think so. Here's the thing. I think if you see a celebrity, it's a little bit different to acknowledge or see them or whatever. I think when you walking up, like, can I get a selfie or something? Just understand you're taking a risk, and that no is not a bad word. No is just them setting their boundaries, being direct. I think there's plenty of examples where celebrities do some shit where I'm like, they is in the wrong for that shit. So, like if someone asks you for an autograph and then you cuss them out, okay, that's right. To me is wild. If you put your hands on somebody, there's like a lot of stuff where I really do think, yeah, that celebrity just went too far. If it's just, hey, I don't want to had this like recorded conversation or take this picture. I just want to, I just don't want to be bothered. I get that, man. And I think, I would hope our audience understand. I think for the most part, our audience does understand that. Mm-hmm. And, some people are going to take it personal, but I that's a you problem, and nobody owes you anything. We literally don't know what's happening in these people's lives, and they don't owe it to us to tell us just because we like a movie they were in.
Agreed.
If we find out like Anthony Mackie was going through some serious shit at that moment and he just ain't want to be bothered, he shouldn't have to come out and be like, oh, my wife got cancer. Like, he should be able to just be like, I said no and I moved on with my life. And then I think people like the woman that made that video just justify why more of these celebrities are like, leave me alone. Mm-hmm. Look at the amount of delusion and projection you had in you. You were just gonna unleash that on me. What if I took the picture and then all of a sudden you said I touched you inappropriately?
Right.
Or I said something inappropriate thinking, oh, you watch my movies, I can joke with you like a friend. No, I don't know you and I don't want to live in a professional capacity every time I leave my house. Carmen J says, wow, not RoboCop. I bet he appreciate that shout out instead of RoboCop. Yeah, if I see Peter Weller, I'm gonna go, bitch ass leave. And see if he like, I'm not even in that scene.
It don't even matter.
You know the scene. Hustle No Flow says, hey, y'all should give the new Arby's BLT on Hawaiian bread a shot. It's good. EV says with the brown sugar bacon, of course I tried it and it was so good they have the meats.
Of course she tried it.
Sure it's good. The only issue I have with it is the Hawaiian bread. It's a lot of bread.
What's Hawaiian?
You don't know what Hawaiian bread is? I find that to be outrageous and a lie. I think you do know what Hawaiian bread is. That soft bread,
the big bun bread. Yes.
Let me just look it up, guys. Hawaiian.
You like the big bun bread, right?
No, okay, it's too late. We've derailed the show.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. Other people in the audience were curious, so now we all go look at Hawaiian bread together.
Thank you.
It's the big thick slices of bread. This is sweet. It's sweet tasting Hawaiian King's Hawaiian sweet bread.
Okay.
That's just one example.
It's not as thick as Texas toast, but yes.
This the kind I've had, the rolls.
That's what I was thinking, more of a roll. But
Okay.
but I was like, well, if they gonna make it, unless it's slide, and you didn't say sliders, so I figured it wasn't that.
Well, I haven't seen the sandwich.
Okay.
I mean, I don't have nothing against. I think Arby's food is good. I think people just got lost in me being like, they give 96% of their money to Republican causes. They're a conservative restaurant, which is higher than even like Chick-fil-A. I don't know how Chick-fil-A got the bad rap that Arby's somehow escapes. I don't know.
No.
And I don't think they support their business by selling food. That's all I'm saying. We've never seen lies. I've never said a lie about Arby's ever. So everything I said is true, but what people tried to flip it to is some like, oh, so you don't eat Arby's because it's nasty. I'm like, I've never said that the food was nasty. I had plenty of Arby's that hit the spot. It's just, you're going to have to wait 30 minutes because they weren't planning on making any food that day.
Customers.
So every time you make an order, they like, damn, we got to basically make the shit from scratch because we was in here like, they like, take the pot of baking soda off of the stove, put the roast beef on. Sir, can you pull up and wait 20 minutes for us to give you whatever the fuck sandwich y'all just named? And when I get the sandwich, it do be hitting. Now, is it hitting because it's more delicious than other restaurants? I don't know. I assume it's hitting because I was hungry when I ordered it. And because that's normally the only time I get Arby's if I'm really hungry. I was hungry when I ordered it. And by the time I got it, I'm 30 minutes hungrier. So, of course, you could feed me sand. And at that point, it's delicious. So, anyway, I stand with you on that, Evie. He is probably great. Evie wrote in, I have a question. Have you two watched the Rick and Michonne series, The Ones Who Live? It was a short 6-episode series. I was wondering if you review it. Maybe not 6 episodes or just one big recap, or not if you ever got around to watching it. I would love to hear your thoughts in general, even if it's just included in your banter segment. We haven't watched it yet. Haven't started it. I don't have AMC Plus or whatever, which I guess is the way to watch it. Maybe I can catch if they marathon it again or something, and DVR it. I think for the most part, though, I just am done with episodic reviews of Walking Dead, just because it is the IP that won't stop. And I feel like if we don't get it off at that jumping off point.
Yeah, like we have to stop, because they was like, if you're going to be here, you're going to be with us forever. Yeah, the Walking Dead, they like, we will be walking forever.
Yeah, if it wasn't for the fact that every 2 weeks there's announced a new show or something, I think I would be like, oh, okay, so this is coming to. It's like if you recap Game of Thrones or Succession, normally there's like a moment of like, all right, and then this is the finale, and we won't see this again.
Yeah, for like a year, a change. Yeah, you have a break.
Not just a break. I mean, it's a finale, and we won't see it again. Succession is over.
Okay, right. I see what you're saying. Yeah.
You know, Game of Thrones is over.
Right.
But even with the newest Game of Thrones, I'm not necessarily that interested in the like, we want to do a prequel with Jon Snow, we want to do a spinoff with this and that. I'm like, yeah, because then it becomes extra work for us, and we not a television show review podcast,
right?
And what I think a lot of people don't know about the reviews is I spend hours working on those reviews.
You watch them like 2 or 3 times too, right?
Yeah, like so. Now look, these other podcasts, they watch it once, maybe twice. They barely take notes, and that's why the fuck they sound wacky to me. Because I'd be like, and you weren't paying attention,
missing
and you're
big
saying
plots and shit. They're like, why ain't this happen? And then somebody else was like, well, that did happen.
Yeah, you're missing stuff that's in the show, and I get it. You're just watching like a normal person. I don't want to be a normal person. I want y'all to hear our show and be like, damn, they thought of everything, or at least like they thought on this on a deeper level, as opposed to just us like projecting and making a bunch of conspiracy theories that don't come true, which ruined Game of Thrones for a lot of people. So anyway, all that to say, I anticipate that we'll watch it. If we watch it, I'm sure we'll talk about it at some point. I feel like it's probably really good, because I think many of us loved Rick and Michonne as main characters, and when the show lost them, it hurt the show. Even though they had a great showrunner that kind of salvaged the seasons after that, it just sucks that showrunner didn't have those 2 great actors to really and characters. Really, they didn't have those 2 great characters to truly like make a backbone of the show.
Agreed.
But yeah, I'm hesitant to commit to anything with Walking Dead because I don't want to be having to recap Daryl in France and Negan and Maggie doing like a city thing. I'm sure the second I start watching it, I might feel differently.
Right.
And if that's the case, then we'll
make a
be
decision
reviewing
then. Yeah.
Yeah. Also, when you guys are talking about out of pocket interviews and mention people standing in line for shoes, I think there's one interview that tops that one. Remember the interview in Mobile, Alabama, where they interviewed some people in the hood about leprechaun sightings. I laughed so hard, especially the part where the brother said he had a leprechaun flute passed down from generations. That was classic. Oh yeah, I remember that. Yeah, and also I can't remember if this is the same thing, but they also had the whistle on the car in one of these like viral hood interviews that was funny. Also, of course, Charles Ramsey and the dead giveaway. That one, well, I mean, that was a string. I mean, there's a lot of these, is what I'm saying. Like that joint.
There's some classics out there.
Yeah, I forget the sister that yeah, there's a lot of them. So yeah, but yeah, I think that one's up there for sure. Carmen says Flicks chick were here responding to my doing it for the grand response about trying something new. Because I said, how is that bad advice? I need the context for why doing, because trying something new doesn't necessarily mean bad advice when it comes to relationships.
Right.
Unless, you got the context and it's like, oh, that was bad advice. So she said, my friends and family members knew I was friends with this guy and he was interested in me, but I wasn't feeling him on that level. Oh, so he was kind of in the friend zone for whatever reason.
Right.
But against my better judgment, I went with their advice and dated him and was filled with fights and a lack of trust, not in him cheating or anything, but oddly enough, my safety and protection with him. I'm a black woman. He was the epitome of the white man. Oh, safety and so maybe I'm projecting, I'm guessing here. Maybe it's a situation where he doesn't necessarily understand the constant attack and danger and double standards that black women are dealing with.
Yeah.
And so while he wasn't like cheating on you or doing anything to make you, like he wasn't threatening your safety or protect, but he was not a protector of you because he didn't even understand how you were attacked. And, there's like a cultural language and dialogue within blackness if you're paying attention to like specific cues of like, I recognize what's happening right now because I'm a black man and I'm with a black woman and this thing is happening to her, and I know because I am black, or I know because I'm in community with black folks,
right? I've
enough
seen
to be
other
like,
family members deal with this, so yes,
yeah. So like, for example, we're at a wedding, some strange woman comes over and says, I want to touch Karen's hair. Karen may feel intimidated. She may not feel like she could say something, or she may not see it. I, as a black man, might be like, hey, what are you doing? Don't touch my wife's hair. We don't know you. Or maybe I don't see it. The woman touches her hair and then Karen talks about it to me, and I'm not going to be like, so what? It's just hair.
Right. You're right. You're not going to dismiss my feelings.
Yeah,
correct.
So maybe that's, obviously she didn't say.
But yeah.
So it was an elephant in the room that I couldn't ignore. So my ass exploited it constantly. Yeah, definitely not down with trying something new if my intuitions know better. Yeah, okay. Because I also heard that trying something new as a euphemism for you should date outside your race. So I've heard that one before too, when people go, oh, you got to try. I guess she's trying something new. It's just like, you mean dating a white person? That's all right.
Happens all the time, B.
Yeah. Like, I didn't know. All right, let's see. Comments on YouTube. S. Carter says at 138.47, when I turn 40, I'll be 44 this year. I cried because it hit me. I most likely have lived most of my life, but more importantly, I am about to start losing more people in life. Of course, at any point, people can pass, but so many people I care about are older than me, my mother, my sister, etc. It also hit me again this year as my youngest graduates high school. Time is flying. My two besties have both lost their parents. Death and grief just brings your mortality into focus. Excuse the ramble. It's all good. I think a lot of us are thinking about those things as we get older. And it sucks. I think, the sad thing, I guess, or the irony is that for a life well lived, it means that people are going to be sad when you're gone. Like you hope. I know when Pat Robertson died, I was out here partying. It just, certain people live lives where you like, oh, they gone, ding dong, the witch is dead. I don't want to live one of those lives. I hope people are sad when I'm not here. And that don't mean you did good. You did good. Jay Houston says, hashtag Team Karen all day. Sorry, Rod, I can't sympathize with you on the strays you caught for your shaving mishap, because I clearly remember Karen telling you when it happened, you're going to get these jokes in word. See, she stands on business, and being hungry is nothing to be ashamed of. I cannot wait to do this when Karen is under. I'm gonna be at Karen wins. It's gonna be crazy. Y'all better be Team Rod.
They will not be.
They better be.
Nope.
Karen's gonna be like, I was in there for 6 hours. I'm gonna be like, oh my God, I rode Thunder Road, y'all. I had to ride. I had to get some pizza from the Carowinds.
They will turn on you, sir.
That's what it's really
about. I'm sorry to tell you, the crowd will turn.
That's what it's really about. Joe trying to lie like it's about something other than just supporting Karen and women over me. That's all it's really about. There's no logic to it. You don't got to keep writing. The lady doth protest too much. You don't got to keep writing all this. We know what it is. You like Karen more than me, and it's fine. A lot of people do. I like Karen more than me. It happens. The poll results have spoken, and I might have to start a support group for all of this Karen slander coming from you. Excellent episode as always. You made many good points. Thank you for always talking about real-time events in a smart, comical, and with necessary, passionate delivery that can reach us all. Thank you for sharing about your uncle. I can hear the emotion in your voice. I think you caught a stray from Karen about socks and sandals, but that might have been my imagination. Well, Karen, sweet, innocent, would never say nothing bad about me, so I don't even know why you would say that. Honestly, I'm offended, and I'm picking Karen over you. So how do you like it? I will have to listen to a few more times before I make a decision on that. Smiley face, heart emoji. Thank you, Joe. All right, and the poll for this episode was, does Anthony Mackie have to take a selfie with strangers who approach him? 100% no on our website, which is shocking. Shocking. 100% is hard to get in anything. Everybody on our website said no. You don't have to give anyone a selfie. And her response justified his action. That's what I said. Because most people would not have responded like that, but because she did, they would go, oh yeah, he was right to tell you no. I am 100% sure I've had a celebrity brush me off in some way, shape, form, or fashion, because we've been around celebrities for our for our podcast and writing for Game Theory and stuff. It's not personal. Cause they're trying to get to the next place, busy doing other shit, got things on their mind, just like regular ass people. Yeah, but also I'm not really a can I get this selfie type of nigga anyway. I can't even imagine, at least not with no rapport. Like if me like if me and the celebrity were talking and it was like, man, do you mind if I get this selfie? Even then, if they said no, I'm not tripping. Right. But the point being, like, I wouldn't even ask normally. That's just not my style. Right. Shit, I'll be forgetting to ask for my friends. It's a miracle. Right. We have events and runs, but like, damn, I should have got a picture. I'll be so excited when I remember. It's crazy. Does Anthony Mackie have to take a selfie with strangers to approach him on our Spotify? 3% yes, 97% no. So a couple people basically said, yeah, he does. So they gonna make videos like that woman then? I guess. I mean, if that's what your life is, go ahead and be hurt all your life, because I don't think people owe you shit. And then the Q&A was saying no isn't being rude. No, it's not. And the thing about that is, I've lived life long enough to realize when it comes to particularly that type of rudeness, a lot of people do not want to accept no as a whole and complete sentence. And when I say no, I don't want to do something, I don't have to explain. I don't need to give you an explanation. I don't need to tell you why I said no. And that should be the end. That's an adult making an adult decision, and you need to respect that decision. When you feel an obligation for me to explain something to you, the problem is you and not me. Unless you are, quote unquote, directly involved in the situation or have an input on the situation, I don't owe you an explanation, not unless I choose to tell you. All right, let's get to y'all's discussion on the Q&A. Ortho says no. Buri Buri Booyah, I think that's how you say it, Booyah, says it's short and jarring, but not rude. He didn't call names or insult. He just behaved like a human who doesn't work at the hours for free. It was kind of funny, actually. Yeah. Blair says about the Diddy thing. So can people still say they got or flew somebody out somewhere? Because I think it's technically sex trafficking, even if it's consensual. The feds didn't care at all. Here's the thing, Blair. And I've heard other people say this too. Here's the problem with everything y'all just said. We haven't been to trial yet. Is Diddy even been arrested? Has he? I don't know if he's been charged. I don't think he's had to turn himself in.
Nope.
He hasn't, because you're saying it's very definitively. No, I don't know.
At least there's nothing online saying that.
Okay, yeah, I don't know. Maybe I missed some stuff. I haven't really been following this that closely. But it seems like there's a lot of suspicion and speculation. Like I said with Jonathan Majors, can wait for the trial and the evidence, and then we can talk about it.
Right.
Because right now people are saying it's sex trafficking if you fly somebody out. I don't think that's necessarily something they're pursuing people for. There's a lot of people that deal with escorts. There's a lot of people that are professional escorts. Many porn stars and models and IG models and stuff get flown out all the time for the express purpose of, or I shouldn't say express purpose, for the wink, wink, nudge, nudge, we're gonna fuck. So I think people are saying that to minimize, I don't know, car bombing, sexual assault, surreptitiously filming people, blackmail, physical violence, and going, yeah, he just flew some models out. Nah, Blair, don't do that. Don't do that. If we want to talk about what he's accused of from like Sierra's lawsuit and stuff, what he's accused of doing, let's talk about it all. If you just want to reduce it to he flew a couple chicks out, well, if they do that to him, they could do it out to anybody. That feels a little like you're trying to downplay the allegations. I'm not saying you are, but it feels a little like that. So let's not do that. The feds not just out here tapping them just for that, unless we see that is what happens at the trial. Is that it's just that he would fly women out and have sex with them. I saw allegations of a girl being a woman now, but a girl then going, I was underage, he sexually assaulted me, and then 2 other of his homies did the same fucking thing, and I got pictures sitting on his lap as a person that is under 18. I don't know, dog. Not the same as flying them out. So
that's not the same. And if somebody's getting quote unquote flued out and they are of age and it's consensual, that people do it all the time. Like that's not a crime. I'm not saying it's not a crime or not. I don't know the technical whatever. I'm just saying they don't be. We know that happens too often to feel like that's all this is. Correct. That's all. Magnificent Breeze says, I realized I had to stop cursing when my baby was learning to walk. And when she would fall, she would say, oh shit. That's hilarious. Marvin says, no is a complete sentence. The problem is people center themselves in their feelings and don't consider other people. So when we hear no, we take it as an affront to us and what we want. Yeah. Yes. That's what it is. And people don't want to be quote unquote seen as the bad guy. That's why people that are very kind and nice-hearted and things like that sometimes get taken advantage of until they make their own boundaries and say no and stick with it. Like I said, I'm better at it, but this is one, Roger talked about this. This is one reason why my boundaries are really hard sometimes on some things, and I will turn around and just get angry because I know me. And so, I'm better at that and go and learn how to kind of calm it down and actually be like, hey, give you a warning and things like that. But, when I was going through this and got taken advantage of because I didn't want to look like the bad guy, I thought no was always wrong. I didn't want to be told no, so I would never tell nobody else no. And then I had to get to the point where I had to learn what my boundaries was and set them. And if you didn't like my boundaries, it was your problem, not mine. And I had to learn how to let you sit in your feelings and not coddle you and not make you feel better because these are things that you need to work through and it's not my problem to solve it. Yeah. And also I meant Cassie. I'm sorry I said SCR earlier. And so nobody write in. Thank you, Trey, for correcting me. Back to this. Nelson says no is a complete sentence to me. Jerome says saying no is simply you putting boundaries on your peace. If they don't respect your peace, then they don't respect you. No disrespect, bad juju, my G. Sakina says no, correct. No is a complete sentence in many contexts.
Lee says, but it is setting boundaries, and selfish entitled people hate that and will call it rude. Ernest says they're lucky he didn't tell them to make daddy a sandwich. Right. Right.
That'd have been hilarious.
That's the thing I don't think people understand is like Anthony Mackie ain't exactly this like this like paragon of virtue that necessarily we won't talking and saying a lot of stuff anyway. Because when he was talking, he was giving some real weird interviews and antiquated advice.
Somebody got to hold
telling people to cut their dreads and pull their pants up. Then he had the stuff about his wife.
Make daddy a sandwich. So you make daddy a sandwich. Daddy want a sandwich. I'm gonna make daddy a sandwich.
Yeah, somebody got to hold him. Was like, just be quiet.
Nah, just be Captain America and let's leave it at that. You
sir.
Get gas. You ain't got to worry about me saying that, brother. Ms. Barnes says, Rod, you're right, Rod. If you want to get a selfie / autograph, support the artist and actor, go to a concert, and support with your dollars. I went to GalaxyCon and met LeVar Burton last year. Right. That's the other thing. We have spaces where you can go be a fan and pay and get that selfie, get that signature, get that. But you don't want to do that. You ain't trying to go to Comic-Con and do that shit because then you're having to pay for the value of it. No, you want to just see the motherfucker somewhere, stop him, whatever they doing, take a picture. And once again, I'm not saying all celebrities are going to be like he is. Many celebrities love that shit.
Yes, they do.
They will stop. They'll talk to you. They love it. But if they don't, I just don't feel like it's the end of the world. I don't feel like that's their right. All right, let's play some music before we get to the next episode so I know how to, get this paid for.
Vital signs all appear normal. But feeling the quality of a thing as imparted through touch. I have been called vision.
All right. Back to the episodes. The next episode is called 2883, Avoiding the Native Son. This is what we talked about, helping our drunken neighbor. And we talked about vulnerability in Black American art and all that stuff. While I'm waiting to listen to Beyonce's album. Although I did listen to some. But I haven't got a thorough listen yet to really be judging it. I listened to like 8 songs. I was like, all right, it's a lot of songs. Abia says, thank you for helping this woman, even if it was annoying. You scored major karma points. Who knows what happened to her before? And she was in huge danger to become a victim of a crime. Yeah, I mean, I'd like to hope that our neighborhood is pretty safe, blah, blah, blah. But I just don't know how you leave somebody that incapacitated out to the wild and just be like,
me either. It'll working itself out. No, ma'am.
Yeah. And honestly, you kind of, all drunk people are kind of annoying if you ain't drunk, so it is what it is. Chew Booty says, listen, I'm an atheist, but the message of Jesus of love one another, love thy neighbor is the truth you're living, and no greater reminder of that than Easter weekend. You cared for this woman. You did not know, even at potential risk to yourself, it's the right thing to do. Obviously, the cops should have taken her to the hospital for observation. Someone that drunk or altered, they could come into harm when left alone in their own apartment. Yeah, I mean, you gotta, that's the other thing is I definitely am not about to confront the police over, I just was hoping you get a cool officer or officers that were going to make sure she was taken care of, and you just got to trust the rest. Because I know as a Black person, I can't be like, officer, I think she needs to go to the hospital. I'm pretty sure. Whereas if I was like a white Karen, I feel like I could have made that happen.
Right.
You know, but hopefully she's okay. I think maybe I may have seen her for like a brief second when we were walking in, or maybe I think maybe I was walking in by myself. I was walking in from something, and I thought I saw a woman that kind of looked like her that had on shades, that was on the phone, maybe getting a car ride share or something. But like I literally looked back up and she was gone, and I'm like, maybe she seen me and was like, I don't want to
recognize that.
You know, maybe she felt embarrassed. Although she don't need to be, but maybe she felt embarrassed, or maybe it wasn't her because Y'all know I have white woman facial blindness, so it could have been one of any white woman, just about. All right. Ramsey D. Jenkins says, I hope your neighbor acknowledges you and Karen for making her safety a priority. Well, you two could have easily left her outside. Kudos to the Lyft driver, too, because he did not sign up for the BS. My hot take on Cowboy Carter: you love and appreciate art and you dislike and chastise art. From gospel to bluegrass, rap, country, pop, rock, disco, jazz, electronica, and R&B, music tells stories of lived experiences, whether it's pain, celebration, heartbreak, having a good time, being broke, making up, breaking up, love, revenge, justice, anger, joy, reflection, peace, relationships, etc. Beyonce creates art, and just like the musicians and performers of the past 50 plus years, she stays on the necks of others who choose not to grow and study their history and the history of American history, especially music history. P.S. Who besides Aretha and Beyonce performs opera flawlessly? I don't even know.
I don't know. Aretha can sing. They had a clip. It was like an opera singer, and he was out, and Aretha substituted in for him, and she sung opera in like another language. I was like, good God, that woman is greatness. Very few people could do that.
Abby says, what kind of group am I in then when it comes to Beyonce? I don't think her music is for me, but I still wish her all the success because she sings cool and she gives joy to many people. And she is, as far as I can tell, a thoughtful and smart person, also a strong woman who built an empire, plays by her own rules. I admire that. I have only positive feelings to her, even if I don't consume the music. I think that's a normal, healthy place to be. I think that would just put you in a group of basic white people that are not American, that don't, they're just kind of like have warm feelings, even if you don't consume it. I feel like that's how I am with Taylor Swift. I don't listen to a lot of Taylor Swift. There's no disrespect to her music. I just don't think it's for me. I'm not like these other motherfuckers that's gonna call her like lack of talent or lack of this or lack of that. I just see what she's doing, resonating with people, and she seemed like a good egg. And I've never had any bad run-ins with her fans and stuff. And I'm not a person that really holds that against artists, because y'all know how much I strive to kind of be unmoored, untarnished by all this shit. It's why I wait to listen to Beyonce. I don't want any of this stuff in my head when I listen to this album of thinking about who said what and who don't like it and which person had this hot take and who mad about. I really want to listen to it at some point where I'm just thinking, what is this song? What is she singing about? And those have been the ways that I've enjoyed her albums. And I think, I think that it's totally fine to just not really be in the mix for something. I feel like at this point, everyone feels like they need to like or hate something as currency. Like,
yes,
it's for our socials, for our friend groups or whatever. It's like, you can't just consume it. You need a take, and it needs to be a little bit different than everyone else's take. And I found if you wait a couple weeks, most people get it out their system, and then you can actually have fun with stuff. And if you enjoyed it or hated it or whatever, that's for you. And I prefer to leave it for me. Suave says, I don't know, Rob, between last week's events at the hospital and now for letting you be the black man holding the bag with the inebriated young white woman, you might want to check your insurance policy for any recent changes. I'm just saying. Yeah, I appreciate you, Suave P. I'm sure Joe is still Team Karen, and whenever I end up on Snap, she's gonna act like it's okay. So,
had no recent change been in the policy,
which is what the killer would say. EVE says, I think it was very kind of you two to look after your neighbor like that. Something bad could have happened to her, and she's been left on the curb. Maybe I'm naive, but I still believe in the human spirit. Even though this country's so divided right now, I do believe 8 times out of 10, people would do the right thing and look out for each other. I can think of a couple instances where I was helped out by random strangers when I was in a bind, and I've gone out my way to help a stranger as well. Yes, I think we should still practice caution, but I believe in helping people as long as the situation is safe. Yeah, and I didn't feel in danger or anything as far as like she gonna do something to us, or like we were right across from where we live. If something really popped off, it didn't seem like she was running from anything. No one was after her. Right. So the main dangers to me was just any danger she was to herself, which is what we were trying to mitigate.
Right.
And then obviously if the cops show up and go fucking crazy, because you hope they never do, but you just don't fucking know.
Agreed. And yeah, it's been times I helped strangers. I remember I was in Fayetteville, and I was going down the road, and I looked up on the hill, and it was like this older man. I think it was like his grandchild, and they had broke down. And so I stopped, like, y'all need anything? And all I needed was a jump. And I gave them a jump. They went on about their way. They offered me money. I said, nope, don't want your money. It's like, I'm good. I just, y'all just look like y'all was just because it was hot too. I said, y'all look like y'all having a hard time. And not too long after that, I ended up locking my keys in my car at the Walmart, not too far from there. And it just so happened this black couple came, and because I was going to have to call a locksmith and all that shit. Like, this was years ago, so it probably took them forever to get there. And they figured out a way to open up my car, and the same thing, I offered them money. I was like, no, we don't want your money, things like that. So I do believe what you put into the universe will come back to you.
I'm really enjoying Cowboy Carter, probably more than Renaissance, because I grew up listening to country music. And I love that Beyonce has put on some up and coming black country artists like Raina Roberts and Tanner Adele. And it's been a great discovering these new artists as well. I love how B always highlights artists in the genre she explores. Whenever you get around to listening to the album Ride, I think you'll be in for a treat. I do too. I mean, I expect good things. Like I said, the fervor of the conversation is just a lot. It's a lot of passion it takes. A lot of people need to get it out. I don't know how and why she triggers people in such passionate ways, but she does. Her art resonates. And a lot of times I find it takes to be so disingenuous and so much projection. It triggers something inside of me that just makes me shut down and go, let me stop, because I'll start wanting to say shit back to people. And look, let them say what they got to say. I don't want to be one of these people out here fighting everybody on Twitter,
Nope.
There was something that happened not too long ago where she did something. Oh, Black is King. And just all the takes off of that. And I just remember No Name, the rapper, going hard. And then people that were African that actually were featured on and in the project
benefited a lot,
who worked directly with Beyonce, talking about how it was not anything that No Name was saying. This was not colonization. This was collaboration. This wasn't her running over us. This was her empowering us. She was uplifting us in places that we weren't getting love and traction. There were people who were African who weren't listening to these artists that once Beyonce came in became fans of artists they just didn't really know or understand. And her people do their research and shit. They don't just fuck with anybody. So yeah, stuff like that. I'm sorry, but she has earned the benefit of the doubt in a way that most of the people criticizing her have not. And so for me, it's just easy to just wait till the wave dies down of just immediate love and hate, and then just check it out later. Ms. Barnes says, woo, you said Native Son, right? I had flashbacks on how tight my chest was when I first read this book in high school. Richard Wright wrote a real one. Yeah, Richard Wright, ill with the pen. I read a book of his, the one it used to be a short story, but then they released it as like a novel a couple years ago. I read that joint, the same thing. He know how to write a Negro in peril, don't he? Fast forward to you and Karen helping that white girl, wasted white girl. When I tell you she had some real angels helping her that night, you and Karen are the realest MVPs. Keith says, I don't think I've ever been invested in the fate of a random drunk person. I was sitting in my car listening intently, and I started to worry I wouldn't get to the conclusion and hear that she was going to be all right before I got to my destination. She definitely lucky it was y'all there. Y'all some real ones. Thanks, Keith. And yeah, man, I'm glad everything worked out, at least from what I understand. We haven't had any follow-up or anything, because I was just making sure that, like, if she needed witnesses or something happened to her, she needed to know, like, hey, what time did y'all see me? What time did the police get here? We would be able to have that information.
Agreed.
And so I'm glad she didn't need that, or whatever. All right, let's check the comments on YouTube. Avoiding the Native Son. We got 6 comments. Lamont says that could have been someone who knew who you were trying to set you up. Protect yourself so we could keep you getting your content. On two levels, I appreciate this. One, that you think we are the people that someone would want to set up. I don't know. They rob us, they'll be practicing to rob some real rich people.
Yeah.
Like I drive a
the testing ground.
My car is from 2011, bro. I don't even know what they just be like. I just wanted to rob y'all, and if that's the case, they was gonna catch me anywhere if they cared that fucking much. The second thing is I love that the honesty of protect yourself so we can keep getting your content. That's what I'm talking about. That's why Anthony Mackie says no to selfies. Because you keeping it real, you like it's about the podcast. If I'm not getting the podcast, then get robbed. Who gives a fuck? Get killed. But I'm enjoying this YouTube.
I like y'all, so I don't want nothing that bad to happen to y'all.
I appreciate that, Lamont. Most people not that honest. Jay Houston says, I caught that stray, Rod. Karen is still my hero. Someone had to be around to tell the story if things went left. Good job, Karen. At least you waited and didn't go out inside to make a sandwich. Laughing at her.
No, I did not. I was not. We had just ate, so there would be no meals at that time. I already ate.
When Karen murders me, Joe gonna still be on. She gonna still be leaving comments on YouTube. Like, we gotta hear her out, y'all. You know, sometimes you have to murder people. Maybe she was confused. Smart Dave says, in regard to the Netflix Good Times animated series, it's funny how those critical of the show are also celebrating the original Good Times now. But wasn't that the same crowd against shows portraying us as poor in the ghetto struggling? It just shows how transparent and performative and exercise this whole thing is. I definitely agree with that last part. I will say the Venn diagram is not 100% that people are celebrating the good times. I know a lot of people that hate the old good times and hated that this new idea too. And it's basically like, leave this whole thing in the past and don't talk about it. I don't know how to feel about that because I think I never felt ashamed by Good Times. Okay. Keep in mind, part of my childhood, we was in the projects. A lot of my family was there. You know, a lot of my family worked hard and got out, but it wasn't unrelatable, the idea of like, yo, life is hard and fucked up and unfair and harsh, and we as Black people are always constantly trying to struggle and strive and deal with it. I just didn't think the show was as funny, and I felt like it was heavy on the sit, low on the calm.
Okay.
Not that it wasn't comedic, it just like other shows, it felt like the point was to be comedic a lot. And this show, it was like you got dynamite a couple times an episode, and then you would get some real sad shit in between.
And there would be some heavy shit they talked about.
And I think also it was my formative years, so some of the stuff I'm remembering, I probably remember the sadder stuff more than the happy stuff. But you know, it's not like the Jeffersons and all these other shows never had very special episodes, but it felt like all the Good Time episodes was very special up in this motherfucker. But yeah, I feel you though. There's definitely, it just felt, I agree with that last part. It just feels very performative, and I don't know. Sometimes like we're living in a mass delusion. I'm like, there's no need to be mad at a show you haven't seen yet, and it's definitely no need to be mad at a show you ain't gonna watch.
Right.
I just don't get it.
Yeah, it's one of those things where people like that. If I'm making something, people like you, I go, well, you're not going to support no buy my shit anyway, so why am I catering to you?
Well, I'm not even going to take it that far. I feel like the sad part is they did make the show with people in mind. They made the show, you can tell this much, I'll say for sure. You can tell to me, let me put it this way, from the roster and some of the clips in the show, you can tell that show was actually made with the idea of, we'll revisit this premise, but in a more modern take that is a little bit more proactively Black and about Black people. The people that are looking at the show credits are like Seth MacFarlane, executive produced, which means probably the money.
Right.
Norman Lear came up with Good Times, so his name is only on it for that. He's dead. He ain't writing nothing. I'm willing to hear it out because my guess is it's gonna be more pro-Black than not. it'll still have fun and humor and stuff, but the problem is if people don't feel safe, they won't laugh at things that they laugh at normally. Meaning, we laughed at Dave Chappelle's liquor store, gun store, liquor store. I saw a baby on the corner selling crack because we felt it's in DC. He's a black man. He's making jokes for black people. If you immediately assume the worst and go, well, this good times thing is for white people to make fun of black people, then there's no joke they can make you'll ever laugh at.
Right.
All I'm doing is saying I'm willing to see if that is what they did or if not. If they did exactly what people are accusing them of, then I'll be out. I don't need to watch that. Mm-hmm. If it's something where I'm like, oh, no, it's jokes from people that know blackness and black people are performing and writing it, then I'm gonna be fine. It's either way, I'm gonna be okay.
Yeah, like you said, I could be mad, pre-mad later.
Yeah, I don't need to be pre-mad. I don't even get that. Goodwill Blurden says, hey, Rod and Miss K, my wife and I were literally saying the exact same thing about the Good Times trailer. So we ain't alone. It's quiet out here for people like us because we keep getting fucking shouted at even if we're not saying anything crazy.
Right. You're like, I'll give it a chance. Don't give that shit a chance. You were like, well, goddamn, can I at least get an episode or two before I make decisions? Because nigga, sometimes y'all motherfuckers be wrong.
It's not like I'm running around like, all you black people, this the problem with us. I'm just like, I understand where y'all coming from. I'm just coming from somewhere different. What? We not all on the same page? Hey man, that I didn't get that manual that I gotta agree with everybody on everything. Gina says, I'm so glad y'all were there and able to help that poor woman. Hope she gets some new friends and maybe some help. Maybe, yeah. And Tia says, you two were so kind to help that woman. She was very lucky. I feel like listening to your show has made me a better person/citizen. Whenever I don't feel like voting, I hear Rod's voice and I make sure to mail my ballot. I am one of those old black ladies who doesn't like the doctor, so I haven't been in years. But based on Rod's recent colonoscopy journey, I decided to make an appointment with a doctor to start attending to my health. Okay.
Let's go.
Thank you, Rod and Karen.
Let's go. That's what I'm talking about. I like hearing news like this, baby. To your health, sweetie.
Yeah, I'm leaning into people, especially with this gym shit. I've not been trying to be inspiring anybody. It's just no offense. It ain't about them. It's about me. And I don't ever want to make external validation the reason I'm doing something because I feel like that is finicky, that comes and goes. And when the people ain't looking or nobody cares or you ain't got the physical like stunt moment, and then are you still gonna be in there? Because I gotta go and be in that gym. I gotta go and hit the trail. I gotta do that stuff when no one's looking, when no one gives a fuck.
Agreed.
When everybody's not congratulating and stuff. When it's not showing up in the mirror or it's not showing up on the scale or it's not showing up in the clothes. I gotta do all that stuff, and so I haven't really responded much to the people that are like, it's very inspiring what you're doing. Are you making me feel like I want to get in the gym? Are you making me feel like I want to go to the doctor and stuff? But that being said, I'm not rejecting that stuff anymore because I don't find it to be a thing where it should matter one way or the other. It's not like anyone's against me. So if people are like feeling inspired, I love that. I take inspiration from people all the time. Some of them don't even know it. A lot of them don't know it.
They do not.
Well, it was funny. One person, I was talking about some of the weights I was lifting, and one person on Facebook, she hit me up to say, like, this is really inspiring. It's dope what you're doing, blah, blah. And I told her, hey, I'm inspired by you because I watched her become like a professional, like bodybuilder person a couple years ago in the pandemic and stuff. And we don't necessarily communicate and talk or anything like that. I just literally was watching her, seeing her, lifting and kind of just picking up this thing and becoming like really great at it and stuff like that. And I said, you inspired me. So I feel like it's a paying it back situation because I definitely was like, you know what, man, she picked up the weights and got in there and I don't know that she even knew that much before that, and then boom, 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 so hopefully, like I said, I'm not running away from that anymore just because I think if we taking something positive from it, then I want to, let's take something positive from it, because it's a lot of us taking negative stuff, a lot of negative energy transference, a lot of hurting people. So if this is gonna be something that's gonna make people go to the doctor, make people go to the gym, whatever, if it's making you feel whatever the fuck you feeling, good. If it's something positive, if you're feeling negative about it, you know, I hate that for you, because I don't have any negative intentions, and I have not and will never be like, you know, Stephen A. Smith, who lost weight and immediately started fat shaming people and calling people names and shit. I will never do that, because I don't find motivation from there, and I don't want to spread motivation like that. Just try to be positive. You happy with yourself, where you are, where you want to be in any way, I'm happy for you. That's it.
Yeah, and also what people fail to realize, well, they don't fail to realize this. Sometimes your brain will tell you it's too late, but I'm here to say it's never too late. So anytime that you start doing something like this, like you said, going to the doctor, and it don't have to be big, it is the time, and it's okay, and you do things on your own timeline, and don't be concerned about other people, because this is your race to run, you know, type of thing. Because even with us and the nutritionists and stuff, I was talking to one of Roderick's uncles, and I was telling him, you know, about, you know, you getting a nutritionist, and about, you know, little things that I've kind of learned, because he, you know, like potato chips and like crunchy shit too. And I was telling him things that you say, you could do that. I was like, yeah, you could do that. So I had a great time, because you could just take your knowledge and learn, and it's nothing big, but, you know, to somebody else, those little small changes might end up being a big deal in the long run of their life.
But yeah, that's dope. Black people taking care of themselves in any way possible. Love to see it.
Love to see it.
Whatever that looks like for you.
Agreed.
All right. The poll was, have you ever helped a drunken stranger? Yes or no? 58% yes, 42% no on our website. On Spotify, it is 65% yes and 35% no. So the majority of us have helped a drunken stranger in some shape or form, which says a lot about America and our drunken, or I guess the world, maybe. I don't know where all y'all from. So anyway, the Q&A, scars are origin stories. Keena says, I've known that Riley speech word for word forever, and at a while back started skipping the homophobic slur. That shit would not fly today. That's all I'm saying, Keena. Like that's the what's so weird about the Good Times thing, is that the memory of people, when you're caught in that information silo, in that very immediate cyclical like pile-on culture, you're not thinking about anything that goes against what's happening in the moment. And I strive every day to try to be a little more thoughtful than just the like the flash in the pan shit. I find it, I know it's human, and maybe I shouldn't look down on it, but I do. I look down on it because I'm like, that's how you get suckered. That's how you get easily led astray. That's how we end up in these binary situations, supporting people that really ain't for us. Because they got you thinking on the short term, and you stop thinking on the long term, and then you look up later and you don't want to admit, damn, they got me. Nobody wants to be like, fuck, I really fell for it that time. I'm willing to give, especially black people, a chance. Right. That's not asking for a lot. I ain't defending black people. I'm not doing the like, if you a fucked up black person, let me tell you why it's okay. I'm not doing any of that, but I'm willing to hear you out. If you go, hey, I'm working on something and I think it's good, and I'm not just gonna go, oh, well, fuck you then, man. You shouldn't be working on that. I'm not gonna do what Snoop did to Underground. He said no slave shows. And I watched people fall for that hook, line, and sinker. The Underground came out and they slowly started admitting, damn, this is actually good. Yo, This is really fucking, this is smart. Who is this? Yo, these actors, all this stuff, right? Show gets canceled. You know, it's too late. You know, now they got canceled kind of close because WGN got bought. But my point being, like, the groundswell of support, it takes longer to build it. And y'all start liking shit too late. You know, like some of them beat the charges and managed to find success, but a lot of them don't. You know, I still remember how people talked about Blackish. Like it was, I guess it's just hard for me as a black person, as a creative, to be like, fuck, man, why are we always starting at the bottom with our own folks, where it's like, this ain't gonna be shit. It's like, well, can you give me a second? Maybe it ain't, but give me a second. Also, on the low, Y'all like a lot of this ain't shit.
Yes, you do.
I don't know why people trying to act so high and mighty.
Right.
If you watch Power,
if you watch anything on Tubi, get out my face.
If you watch Power, don't be high and mighty with me, dog.
Right.
Because you do watch stuff. You know, it's like people, I don't like black trauma. Well, you watch Snowfall and The Wire. That's black trauma too.
Yes, it is.
What? Because they didn't have a massa. That's not black trauma. Come on, man. It's just we are putting ourselves in boxes that we're already boxed in by other stuff. Mm-hmm. I'm just saying, give ourselves a chance. That's right. It. And we don't gotta rush to judgment.
Right. And we need to have the same rights that we give white people shit. They shit come, it goes, it flops. All like give our shit a chance. But a lot of time, like you say, they cut it off by the kneecaps and then go, you need to work twice as hard to get my attention. Twice as and what's even more funny if it's something that is still black, but white people like it. Y'all complain about that bullshit too. You can't have it both ways now. You can't be like, we're not gonna support it, but y'all better not let the white folks support shit either. And like for me, that's very frustrating.
All right. Back to this. Ms. Barnes says, to my point, scars are origin stories. Yep, I got many a villain origin story. Katie said, okay, I didn't say they were villain origin stories, just origin stories. You decided to be a villain. I'm just saying.
You decided to be the super villain? I didn't make you be the super villain.
Katie says, even in the literal sense, strength has no meaning without vulnerability and vice versa. We need both. Absolutely. So that's it for avoiding the native sun. I think we got one more episode for the week, and it is 2884 Race War 2 Race 2 Furious. We got 9 comments. Brooklyn Shoebay says, my 17-year-old and I were talking race and microaggressions because I've experienced a bit at my job lately for the first time in a while, and I have unplaced frustration about it. That led to a conversation about how you can't escape the race war and how it shows up in the enjoyment of sports. My kid told me she was watching the Iowa game with her dad, and her dad was feeling like a traitor because he was rooting for Caitlin Clark's team. Why can't we just enjoy sports with race? I guess without the race war agenda side. Race is the sport of America. Mm-hmm. I say that and I stick to that, man. Race is the sport of America. It's never not gonna be. Everyone is in on it. Everyone's in denial about it. I'm one of the few people out here that's just being 100% honest and not sugarcoating it. And I think it's funny because when you call it out, you take the power out of it from people because they want us to kind of talk around it. And I'm not just talking white people, I mean all of us.
Yes.
Like black people that are rooting against Caitlin Clark, it's because she white. And whenever I say that flatly like that, there's always like you could see that pause of like, oh damn, can we just say that? I'm like, it's obvious.
Right. It's obvious. Like I said, I was cheering for Caitlin Clark. And just like when we watched the NBA, I love, Luka and all these other people. And I know a lot of niggas hate them because they white or they have white appearance, white features. I was like, nah, I was like, they can play. They're good players. I'm not going to poo-poo and shit on them because they're white.
Yeah, it just seems stupid. The Taylor Swift thing is because she's white. Right. And her fans are white. Like, it's like everyone wants to talk around it. And honestly, I hate wasting my time. So when I have people start talking to me around and shit, and I'm like, but we know it's because they white. Well, she the only person with obnoxious fans. All these niggas got obnoxious fans. Even the ones you love, have huge amounts of just obnoxious motherfuckers. J. Cole, obnoxious fans. Beyonce got some obnoxious fans. Mm-hmm. Rihanna got obnoxious fans. Nicki got obnoxious fans. All these niggas got obnoxious fans because that's what people make their identity now, is doing too much in the name of folks.
Yep.
So how can I sit up there and be like, well, there's one person, I'm not fucking with them because of they fans. Man, they all like that. So let's just be real. They white and we black. And so now we talking about it. Mm-hmm. I turn on Sports Center and you see the same thing with the quarterbacks. The white people don't normally seem to like the black quarterbacks. They always got some weird reservations. Mm-hmm. No matter how much that black quarterback is accomplished, there's always some reason not to believe it this time. And then the black person got to go out and prove it. And all the black commentators come on. And even the sorry black quarterbacks, they normally giving some grace of like, because they know how hard it is to be black in the world. So all of a sudden they're like, oh, well, actually, man, maybe he not sorry. He just needs some people around him. Race is what we're really rooting for there. Nobody want to say it. Nobody really want to say it. Anyway, Norval says, I love your show. I'm a Karen Rebel from the Sirius XM. Rod, you are funny and truthful. Karen is real. Y'all got me hooked. Thank you, Norval.
Thank you.
EVE says, I feel bad for Lizzo because her only crime is loving herself, and unfortunately it's still a radical concept for plus side women to love themselves. People think big girls should cover up and not be seen, and people just take unnecessary shots at her. Even that coon Jason Whitlock was clowning her weight. He's a big guy himself and a coon at that, so he truly has no business talking. Right? I didn't think Lizzo quit music, but I would understand if she did because people are so out of pocket. As for Doja Cat, those are her people. It kind of reminds, it's for the Lizzo thing. Let me say this. If those allegations are true, her only crime isn't just being a plus size woman that loves herself. That being said, even with me reading that shit, I didn't get this. Like, I think the allegations sound worse than they are. And I'll die on that hill. I will see in court, and I'm always open to the courtroom, bringing up some shit that really makes you go, "Oh, I didn't know that."
Agreed.
But of what was alleged, there's a lot of stuff where there's cover because she didn't directly do anything with certain people. The other part is she doesn't. There's a lot of assumptions in there of like, I felt like I would be fired. Did anyone say that? Who told you that? Did Lizzo say it? That's not in there. Maybe they're going to pop up with some stuff that shows that. That's one of the reasons you do discovery is like, we looked through their phone and we did see that she said that. But as of right now, what it feels like is, like you said, because she's plus size in public, Black woman who's trying to be liked, there's a lot of people who have just, it offended their sensibilities from jump. This was the chance to finally jump on her and be like, haha, bitch, you're not better than us. You're just as bad as us. You're the real problem. I never wanted to see you in the public in the first place. And now here's this chance to say that it's not about that. It's really about this lawsuit. Let's see what the lawsuit says in court, because it is going to court. And we'll have plenty of time to find out.
We will.
But as always, I know it's different for rock stars and shit, but this is why I don't hang out with people. This is why I don't hang out with people, man. Like this, I love my coworkers at Game Theory. The amount of times that we actually went out and I hung out with them, you probably count on one hand, because it's just, it don't mean they bad people or nothing. It's just shit you're talking about a professional environment, and then we about to go do some unprofessional shit. 90% of the time, people cool and it won't be no problems. But every once in a while, somebody says something about the way you get down, or you don't like the way they get down, and there ain't no HR rule for that shit or whatever, and now it's a problem. Imagine I'm showing up at work and being like, yeah, last night motherfuckers was doing cocaine. I'm going to HR. People be like, what the fuck wrong with you, Rod? But technically, I'd be right in HR. Hey, man, y'all can't be out here doing cocaine. Like y'all ain't supposed to be doing that shit. Now I'm a snitch and a bad person to most of my coworkers. But if the shit came out in the New York Times, it'd be like, hey, you know what? Bomani Jones runs a terrible ship. That's what y'all be thinking. It's the way it works. So I think a lot of this is about the unprofessional landscape of a professional job, which is music.
Yeah, and music, and there's some industries, acting, they have all these weird parameters. It's serious when it needs to be serious, but then it ain't serious when it don't need to be serious. It's like, no, if there was actually like a smooth HR department and shit like this, a lot of the abuses and shit like this, and not that it wouldn't it's not that you can eliminate them all, but you would cut down on a lot of that bullshit if you had like that structure around it.
We care way more about people's internal monologues than we used to.
Yes.
The problem is people's internal monologues are not necessarily reliable. They're not consistent. So an internal monologue might be me projecting, well, Karen went to get breakfast. She wants me to die. Clearly she doesn't care if I live or die during this operation. That's my internal monologue. That doesn't necessarily mean that's what happened.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That's what I felt. My feelings aren't necessarily actionable in the court. Like, it's a difference between that and having proof. Now, if Karen sent me a text message, I'm going to get breakfast. Die, bitch, die. Well, now
did we have a
we
problem?
go to court. I'm gonna win because I got it right there.
We have a problem.
What
there.
happens in the court of public opinion is we treat the first as the latter. So like, oh, you felt this way? That's how we handle it now, and it's an overcorrection from back in the day when we didn't care. Someone could be like, I was actually assaulted, and we'll be like, well, it's Prince. Oh well, you see what I'm saying? So we've now overcorrected to like, well, if you feel a way, that's valid. Your feelings are valid. And they're like, well, we don't have necessary proof. They accused the person and they felt the way, and people don't lie about that kind of shit. So they did it. So I just feel like we're in a weird time. And the whole, I've said it years ago, and I'm not changing it for Doja Cat. I mean, for Lizzo. I'll wait to the court. Yeah,
and also the thing about social media and online, they don't like when shit go to court, because then, you have to look at what the facts really are and not about the feelings.
Yep. As for Doja Cat, those are her people. It kind of reminds me of the story where a woman kept a chimp as a pet. As they grow older, they get more aggressive. And she was warned to turn it over to chimp sanctuary or a zoo, but the woman wouldn't listen. One day, the chimp ripped the face off. True story. Doja Cat's chimps are now in this face ripping face off stage, and now she's acting surprised. I'm sorry, but call me that old black lady in a wheelchair. I'm supposed to feel sorry for this bitch. I don't. Yeah, I'm with you. I've never. I've tried to express it before, and I'm sure I feel slightly confused or complicated about it, because on the one hand, I think Doja Cat seems to be a really toxic, fucked up, kicking with white supremacists because she think that shit is edgy person.
Yes.
Whether she believes it or not doesn't matter to me. She thinks it's part of her troll rollout. Oh, I'm gonna cover myself in red paint and stand in Times Square and take pictures and be like, oh, new album coming. I look like a demon. A lot of times she'll do, quote unquote, she'll ugly herself up on purpose to get a reaction from people. It's let me take the wig and the makeup off, get a super close picture and all this stuff. Look at my skin blotches and stuff. She thinks all of that is like, hey, I'm a pop star. I'm getting attention. I know a lot of people that actually like that about her, is like, she's really good at getting attention. But one of her ways of getting attention is kicking in with white supremacists and thinking that, hey, I'm a person who is not white, and I think it's funny to kind of pal around with these guys, or at least signal that I'm down with them. Isn't that edgy? And when that shit happens, a lot of her black fan base, because she does make hip hop music, and a lot of her contemporaries are other black artists who bring her on for features and shit. I feel like people kind of cringe and ignore it. Like, it's like, ooh, but then it's like, well, we're not gonna stop working with her. But
but when they turn on you, dog, you on your own.
So though her fan base are those trolls. So I don't feel the sympathy and all this shit that she now is like, don't talk about my hair. What are you talking about? Those are the people that talk about your hair. You kick it with them. And then the last thing is, when I say it's a little complicated, I also try not to judge these artists on any different scale than I judge the male artist on.
Right.
By which I mean, I don't fuck with Doja Cat. She kicks it with these white supremacist motherfuckers. I haven't fucked with Kanye's music since he started kicking it with them people. I think that's pretty consistent. If you I don't have to do that. That being said, if you make a slamming ass song, all right. That's always been the way my metric is.
Yes.
If the song is banging, I'm giving you a pass on that, because all I cared about is the song. I'm not supporting you
in your personal life.
I don't agree with your point of view, especially if you're not rapping or talking about whatever it is you're into.
Right.
I've never been like that, and the truth is, most people aren't like that. They present themselves that way. If I go through their discography and their playlist, I will find a bunch of shit that is the opposite of that. And they not giving it up. It's all fake. Not fake, but it's all performative shit of, I don't fuck with this type of thing. It's like, no, you don't fuck with XXXTentacion because you're fucking 30 years older than them or 20 years older than him.
Right.
That's why you do love Tupac, because you and him would have been the same age if he lived.
Yes,
and he's dead, so he can't do no new shit.
Right.
You do. Oh, I saw somebody on Twitter talking about J. Cole and Kendrick and Drake, but they were mostly talking about J. Cole at the moment. And this person was being like, well, he apologized for this, but the misogyny wasn't too far. The transphobia he has in his songs, some of his lines about that's not too far for him, but beefing with Kendrick, that is too far. I mean, when are we going to stand up for that? And I was like, oh, I'll tell you when we're going to stand up for that. Never. We're never going to stand up for homophobia, transphobia, and misogyny in hip hop. Why? Because then everybody had to erase their whole catalog. And motherfuckers don't want to do it. That's just facts. It just is what it is. You're not getting rid of Snoop Dogg. You're not getting rid of The Chronic, Dr. Dre. You're not getting rid of Jay-Z. You're not getting rid of, here's a newsflash, most of the women rapping right now are very misogynistic.
Yes, they are.
Most of their lyrics are very much about, and I don't mean this shit that these dudes clutch their pearls that are like, women have sex. No, but I don't care about that part. But a lot of them are also dissing women for having the quote unquote wrong kind of sex. Yo pussy whack. You fuck niggas and don't get money, or you just a bitch, or you got some basic this, or you that. All of it's kind of fucked up. That's kind of what hip hop is. It's like going to the movies and being like, damn, they shooting people in these movies. Yeah, but it's not real.
Right.
They making play pretend shit to entertain us. Just be entertained or don't, but don't try to rope me into some moral point that you know you can't even stand on.
Nope.
So I think that part is really important. And yeah, like I said, Doja Cat shit just reminds me of Kanye shit. And low key kind of like, hopefully she won't. Well, actually, no. Sexy Red too. I gotta be fair. Sexy Red kicking in with the Trump shit is also like the shit that made me kind of push away from Kanye, because it's like, you just think any attention is good,
right?
And at that point, I'm not for that, but other people obviously will make excuses. I'm like, damn, that sucks, because I really thought you were pretty fun and having a good time, but I'm not gonna kick it on the third rail of my rights just so you can like laugh it off and shit. That's kind of corny to me, you know. And maybe she'll stop that shit and it'll be fine. But yeah, the shit with the Trump shit was big. It was a blower for me, because I kind of think she's a fun, entertaining, provocateur type. And it's like, oh, you'll do anything,
right?
Okay,
that kind of killed it, right?
Appia says, congratulations on your birthday, young Karen. I'm still older because my birthday's in March. Tanya says, I might go to hell for this, but when I saw Candace Owens' baby shower photo, I said, oh, that's where that drunk white lady came from.
From that party.
Right. I don't think they had alcohol at that party. Okay. The only thing they were drunk on was supremacy and making sure Candace was in the back at her own baby shower.
Yes, you in the back, baby.
Keith says, whenever people talk about boycotts, in this case, Planet Fitness, one of the things I noticed, people both on the left and right doing it, is talking about how they lost X amount of money because the stock took a dive, when they talked about it like a 2-day blip of movement that means nothing at all and probably isn't even related to whatever the fake right-wing outrage topic du jour is, and it's probably going to reverse back to what it was in the next few days. Yeah, I've noticed that too. They tried to do that with the beer. When it was like, oh, we don't like the trans stuff with this beer. Look at the stock. Oh, look at the stock price. And the beer company did capitulate, but the stock didn't just jump right back up. You know, it wasn't like they said, oh, okay, because it's like y'all aren't really boycotting. Y'all are just mad. Y'all didn't really control that shit, you know? But yeah, it is, like I said, you be on the internet a lot. You just kind of get in them silos. And yes, I think everyone believes they're the group that's changing shit. The best example was Kaepernick and the NFL. Black people said the ratings went down because we was mad. White racist people said it went down because the league was too woke and people was taking a knee. And at the end of the day, neither side could truly say, because neither side was organized. You know, this wasn't like the Montgomery bus boycotts. This wasn't them saying, black people, we will not watch until blank happens. It was just niggas being mad.
Right, not the same.
It wasn't white people going, we won't watch until blank thing happens. It was just white folks being mad. It wasn't organized at all. And people get mad and stop watching stuff every day. That's not necessarily a boycott. Angel says, wow, so listening to you guys talk about Best Buy really hit home because I worked for Best Buy until the second when you put this episode out. And they fire so many Geek Squad agents over the phone and repair agents that go in the home. They really do not care much about repairs and such, and we're pushing AI to replace the phones and third parties by changing our hours and limiting what we could do. I was almost in my 5th year with them and was supposed to get a raise this month, but they let go of whole teams and leaders who had 20 plus years of tenure without any notice that Tuesday. Ooh. I will be fine since this will give me an opportunity to figure out life. But yeah, I was in the store when they started changing auto techs and everyone was so angry, but blamed the pandemic. While the auto techs knew Best Buy just didn't want to pay them. Best Buy / Geek Squad is definitely not what it used to be, and I don't think it'll be around much longer. I'm with you.
Yeah, I can see them fading out away because basically I can't speak for anywhere else, but for here, the Best Buy we went to, it was basically a box store. And like you walk in, nobody's going to help you. Nobody's going to assist you. You better know what the fuck you want. You're not going to get help. You're not going to get assistance. None of that shit. With 5 people total working in the store. Most people are just coming, picking their shit up, wear my order, and they're leaving. Like I said, everybody goes fuck a professional to some shit you don't know what to do. Then you want a professional, because Geek Squad serves their purpose. If I'm buying like a Ring alarm system or I'm buying shit like that, like for some people, they will spend the extra money. Go, I don't have time. Come put this shit up, fix it, put it up, because I don't want to do it myself. It's very frustrating because you have some people like me who going, I don't know how to do it. I don't want to learn how to do it. I am willing to pay somebody to do it. And they go, no, we don't want to. We are not offering you. No, we no longer offer you no services. If we do, we're gonna offer you some shitty ass service.
Yeah, I just think I don't know. It feels like this is just accelerated. I think they've been probably wanted to phase this shit out. It's extra people that have to pay. It's services and stuff that the markup probably isn't the same, but they don't specialize in it. And I think they used to value being a one-stop shop. Yeah. And being like, you buy your car stereo here, you get it installed here, you do all that, you need maintenance, you come here, all that stuff. And I think Amazon essentially changed that into, look, all people want is you to send them the shit. Mm-hmm. And they'll find someone to put it in or not. And I think that may have fucked it all up. That's true too, because like I said, if I ever need to replace my stereo or get my shit broken, I would probably end up just going to like you said, an individual shop that just specializes in it. Go, hey, can I buy it and get it all done here? They go, yeah. Well then, yeah. What's the point of going to Best Buy? It's pointless. Yep. All right. YouTube comments for Race War 2 Race 2 Furious. Jay Houston says, Karen, I hope your birthday was great and didn't involve rescuing any more intoxicated women.
It did not.
She was an intoxicated woman, need to be rescued. Happy birthday. Next year, Easter is on 4/20. That'll bake their noodles, says SDH. Yeah. Yeah, they're going to be like, how? But see, the White House won't tweet that, but that would be funny. Maybe Joe get their second term. Maybe he would tweet it. Joe. But like, what they going to do to me? Smoke them if you got them. Happy Easter, motherfuckers. Like, oh, who got this account?
Oh, they Joe would allow that.
Amakisi says, hope you had a great birthday. Thanks for the great podcast. I'm new to your channel. Yeah. See Nathan, good happy birthday, Karen. Thomas says, thank you for seeing us. I don't even know which of the us is there.
But I'm glad we saw you.
Happy birthday, Queen Karen. Happy birthday, Miss Karen. Happy birthday, Karen. Thank you for spending part of your birthday with us. I hope you have a great birthday.
I did. My birthday week was great.
We love to see it. Mm-hmm. And let's check the Q&A and all that stuff. And the polls. The poll, who do you feel more sorry for? Doja Cat or Lizzo?
Lizzo.
95% of the audience said Lizzo. Because Lizzo was saying she was going to quit, music, and then she came back. 87% Lizzo, 13% Doja Cat on Spotify. So mostly Lizzo. And then the comment for the Q&A was Haley Van Lith, ally of the week. Big Philly says she can get it. Now I don't know if he's talking about sexually or not, or if he's talking about she got all them buckets from Caitlin Clark. Either way, she
got it. She got it.
Veronica says, happy birthday, Karen. Wish you continued success and happiness. Love you guys.
Yay!
DJ Zenway says, hey, Ron and Karen, I'm surprised you didn't figure out what's going on with Trump. It's by President Week. Doesn't matter whether he can pay or not someday. Maybe not today when I ask for a favor. Oh, it's an investment. That makes sense.
He'll pay you back on Tuesday?
Yeah. Nichelle said, I just wouldn't trust Trump to pay me back if I was those people, but you know. Nichelle says it was a good decision by Coach Mulkey to let Haley take the heat by guarding Caitlin Clark and tamp down the race war of women's basketball. Yeah. I mean, ultimately, South Carolina had the blacks. I just didn't think I don't know what would have happened, y'all. If Caitlin Clark beat South Carolina, honestly,
you're talking about race wars. Ooh, it'll split the country in half.
The country might still be on fire.
Yes, sir.
If motherfucking Caitlin Clark somehow managed to continue that heater she had in the first quarter and was just out there giving them buckets the whole time. Keep in mind, we are saying Caitlin Clark was locked up. She had 30. She had 30.
She had 30.
Oh, man. He's different. But anyway, it reminds me when LeBron was in the finals and we gave Andre Iguodala the MVP for locking LeBron up. Y'all go look at that man's stats from that series. LeBron James was still killing these motherfuckers, and we was like,
bucket.
But he ain't killing. Andre is MVP, averaging like 7 points a game. It don't matter. He the MVP. They could not have done it without him slowing LeBron down by 14%.
Just a little bit. He wasn't at 100. That's all that mattered.
Let's see. Okay. Oh, and lastly, Dorothea says, happy birthday, Karen. Enjoy hearing you alongside Rod on Foolishness Friday. Hope it is not the last time. Rod, you and Karen are a beautiful team. Thank you, Dorothea.
Oh, thank you.
And we're gonna get into the emails, but first I need to play some music so we can get this last little bit of money. Let's see.
Music.
That's nasty.
All right. This is from Jay Cedric, who says, y'all are the absolute best, truly pioneers in the podcast game and a real gateway. Y'all done put a brother on to so many influential and important folks. I know I don't know you and you don't know me, but I truly appreciate you and Karen. Surviving the utter caucasity of Utah may not have been possible without y'all as a real plug back into the blackness of the Southeast, where I was born and raised. Feel free to include this email in the feedback show. I'll try to make it a 5-star review as well. Mega ups to the Blackout Tips. Thank you.
Oh, thank you, baby.
That was after I helped them with an issue trying to access some stuff. So appreciate that. Dawn says, hello, Rod and Karen. Listening to the Native Son episodes, you guys are genuinely good people. I'm sure you didn't want to step into that situation helping the lady on Saturday night. I'm sure she has family somewhere who are thankful you guys are there to help. As a mother, I was panicking for this woman. So many things could have happened. I know you guys used all your energy to do what you could for her before the police showed up. I'm glad to hear it worked out for both of you as well. Once again, thank you both for being amazingly awesome folks in this world, giving me hope that there are still good people out there. Best, Dawn. Thank you, Dawn.
Thank you.
Amber says colonoscopy. Hey, Rod and Karen, long time listener, first time writing in. I'm so glad Rod shared his experience about a colonoscopy, especially with the emphasis on being a black man. He's getting a colonoscopy next month, and I guess maybe your husband or somebody's getting a colonoscopy next month. Thanks for you for sharing the experience. I feel all the more equipped to support him. Thank you. P.S. You could assume we're both black, LOL, but I want to make it clear we're black. And really appreciate getting to hear about black men's health from a black man, Amber. Thank you, Amber.
Oh, that's sweet.
Yeah,
I mean, a lot of not that black men aren't open up about their health, but a lot of black men aren't like talk about things on the podcast. A lot of them don't until they get like much older in life, and just things and shit. And the shit is scary. Like that's a thing. Shout out to Nick Jew. You know what? Do the shit scared. Like, I know that's a very hard pill to swallow, but yeah, like when I went to go get my mammogram, I was scared because I was like, what's gonna happen? I don't know. You hear stories, you don't know what to prepare for. I talk to people around me, and particularly when you get your first mammogram, they don't tell you like it's a 50-50 chance that you're gonna have to come back. It don't mean nothing's wrong or anything, but a lot of times they tell you, particularly if you have dense breasts, they tell you to come back because they don't have like a baseline. So a lot of times because of that, they'll have you come back in and do additional tests so that moving forward, they know that this is what your breast should look like. And man, when they hit you up and you get that letter, because one of my telling one of my coworkers I was going to get the test. And she was telling me, she was like, hey, they may call you back. And I'm so glad she told me that, because if not, I would have really panicked. Like, you calling me back? What does this mean? I don't understand. You start, then they send you the letter with all these fancy ass words on it. You don't know what the fuck it means. You got to goddamn Google everything. Do it scared. And so I embrace that. Easier said than done sometimes, because sometimes people can allow that fear to immobilize them.
Yeah, I agree. And I think the thing I keep thinking is, you hear the stories of you either got this thing just in time or you got to this thing early and it saved your life. And I'd rather hear that, and the only way to hear that is to do it as soon as possible.
Right.
Because obviously the other alternative is you got to this thing way too late. Why didn't you do this before? And I don't want to live with that. I just rather try to be proactive rather than reactive. And
as
not
much
that,
as I can, right?
Yeah, not that people can't survive things that people don't, that you catch later and stuff. But I'll try to be proactive rather than reactive. So, and I didn't want to be another story of like, oh, now this guy's dead. Black men, you got to look after your health. Like, I hate that shit. I hate it. It's like, oh, now y'all care. You know what I'm saying? So Zoe says, dear power couple, on a recent show, you were talking about how everyone's mad at the Kellogg CEO telling consumers that they should have cereal for dinner. For further context, people aren't mad just to be mad. It's more like they're indignant that a CEO of a food conglomerate would ask people to eat cereal for dinner in response to high inflation when his company bragged about boosting prices 28% over the last 2 years. People are understanding that companies like Kellogg aren't raising prices because of inflation or economic pressures. They're raising prices just because they can get away with it. Like, how are you going to pretend to have a sympathetic ear to people who are financially struggling when you are part of the problem? Your cereal is expensive as hell. People in general don't have a problem with eating cereal for breakfast, lunch, or dinner. For some people, it won't be Kellogg's. Full disclosure, I don't really eat Kellogg's all that much, except for Pop-Tarts. I tend to eat big bags of malto meals like a proper poor person. See y'all's out. Here's a problem, though. Here's the problem, though. So I appreciate you trying to add some perspective. But here's where you missed out. Everything is inflated in the grocery store right now. It ain't just cereal. All the shit costs too much right now. And they all being greedy, right? You asked the crack dealer what could solve this problem. And of course he said more crack.
Because that's what I'm selling. I'm selling crack.
I'm sorry, but y'all are mad about nothing. That you're just mad to be mad. I could have told you what the man was going to say if you would have told me nothing other than he's the CEO of Cereal Inc.
He don't want you to buy cereal.
You could have said, Rod, what do you think this man's solution is to any problem, by the way?
Anything. It don't even matter what it is. It's going to be cereal.
It wouldn't matter if it made no sense. What's the solution to weight loss? Eat more of my sugary, high fructose corn syrup cereal. Mm-hmm. That's the solution.
We even do sugar-free. We don't care. We want all your money.
How are we going to stop what's happening on the Gaza Strip? Cereal. If we just send cereal, we buy it, then send it in.
It'll suck up the oil.
Right. My wife left me. Did you try cereal? Did you buy some cereal? Of course he said that shit. I'm sorry. You can't trick me. You can't trick me to get mad about this shit. And I
do understand your anger, but like Roger said, you asking the cereal man
this nigga is Mr. Cereal.
His answer is always gonna be cereal.
The truth is, y'all was mad at that man before he said a word. So stop trying to act like it's. Well, if he would have just said it right, there's nothing he could say.
Nothing.
They did what they did. They raised the prices. They did it. You can't trick me, though. Nice try. Nice try. It was very slick. Mr. Span says, Instagram politics. I follow behind on shows, so I didn't get to chime in on the issue of Instagram requiring users to opt in regards to political content being shown to them on their feeds. One of the things I think they got lost in that is that the Threads is like their Twitter app. Okay, yeah, it is their like new Twitter. And a lot have been made about the ability to have conversations about politics on that particular platform. It just so happens that with Threads, you have to have an Instagram account, and to change the settings to opt into political content, you have to go to Instagram to change it. I'm not sure how many people go to Instagram to get politics. I always thought it was more for looking for pictures and reels and stories.
Right.
But I think the political opt-in option was specifically aimed at people who had migrated from Twitter to Threads and they wanted to engage in news and politics of the day without it being throttled. It's me, I'm people. That's it. Just thought I'd add my 2 cents. Talk to you guys later. Peace. Yeah, I guess that could be it. I don't really understand how that works. So if that's how you say it works, cool. I don't understand. To me, I just find the place I'm in my life, I don't want more politics from people I don't know. Because that's the thing. It's not stopping the politics of the people you do know. So if you're on Threads and you're following somebody, you want to know their political opinions, it's not stopping that. The only thing it's stopping is the promoted or shared content of people you don't follow coming into your feed. And personally, I'd rather just keep it at butts. Like when I go to Threads, it's just IG models. When
the strippers go live, I like follow some of the clubs.
That's not Threads. That's Instagram.
Oh, my bad.
On Threads, it's just if you go there now, at least on my account, and I know other people that have reported back that it happened to them too. At some point, they went full bore on just like, fuck it, IG models for everyone. So when I see somebody I don't follow suggested in my feed, it's just normally like, hey, I'm at the gym in them Amazon leggings. That's what I'm seeing. So I don't know if it's everybody, but and honestly, it's better. I'd like to opt. Now, if they put a switch on that, I'd opt into that. But just politics of people I don't know and follow, I made my mind up. I'm good.
Right. I don't need to hear your opinion about it.
I'm mad enough.
Ain't that the truth?
People mad as hell about cereal right now. I don't want to encourage anything extra.
No, they ready to burn it down for cereal. So yes.
Mary says, hi, Rod and Karen. Karen, I hope you enjoy your birthday week.
I did.
Rod, I appreciate your honesty in discussing your own flaws and weaknesses and how that is actually empowering. As a person in recovery from alcohol and drugs, admitting you're powerless is the first step in recovery. Until that moment, you're stuck. And yet we fight. Speaking for myself, I could not believe that someone like me, who comes from a very disciplined family of overachievers and is disciplined in other areas, couldn't just try harder and stop it. My ego had me fighting and not willing to admit I was sick. But once I did, wow. Now listen, I still had to do work and continue to do so. But when I admitted to myself I was an alcoholic in public, I was free. My weakness is now the fundamental foundation of my strength. I continue to unearth more flaws, LOL, but you're right. There's nothing anyone can do or say to me. My response, and so congrats to you and others who are strong enough to examine and admit their weaknesses. Best, Mary. Yeah, man, you can't use nothing against me that I know about myself that I'm not running from, you know?
And I'm not running
from. And it doesn't mean like because whether you're working on it or not. This is one of the reasons I think people stereotypically full of stereotypes, but people will often say stuff like, a big black woman, I just look up to them so much because they so fierce and they this. And the truth of the matter is what they aren't truly articulating is that a lot of black women have had to learn to love themselves despite every fucking thing in the world telling them they shouldn't.
Ain't that the truth?
And instead of like seeing that on a human level and that plight, and seeing this as a reaction to that plight, they just go inspirational. But the truth of the matter is we can all live inspirationally like that. There's no roadmap. There's no litmus test. There's no club. There's no induction ceremony. If you want to just wake up tomorrow and be like, yeah, I know I'm short and let's go. What's that? What else they got to do in my life? Then can't nobody use that shit against you. And it's your body and it's your life and you only get one of them. And so whatever you want to change that's within your power, you can change that. Nobody can do anything to stop you or start you. Totally up to you. whatever you want to, live your best life in whatever way you want to. And you're right, it's still a lot of work, it's still hard, it's still good days and bad days and stuff like that. But once again, nobody can level something at me that I'm saying I know. Yeah, there's a strength in that.
Yeah, and a lot of times people do that because they want you to stay stuck. Because, you know, there are some people, most people are rooting for you, most people aren't rooting against you, but there are some people, they don't want to see you grow. They want to see you stuck because they like that familiarity. They like you being in that place, whatever that place is.
Whatever it is, whatever it is their thing.
Mm-hmm. And it's not your problem to solve.
Whether it's that, whether it's their own personal hangups. I mean, when I look at how Stephen A. Smith talks about Zion Williamson, what I see is a man that thought about himself that way. Because he's on a health journey and he's posting pictures of after, and he's always on TV talking about getting himself in shape and getting a trainer. And what I see is that his motivational voice inside of his head was, you fat piece of shit, Stephen A. Stop eating and do this and get that and do this. And that's what he thinks everyone needs to hear to have that same effect.
Right.
And so people like that think they're passing it along. When people don't like Lizzo before this lawsuit shit, but when people just didn't like, well, look at how she's sitting in that seat at the Lakers game. She got a thong on. Okay, Megan Thee Stallion comes there yesterday. We love that shit. Rihanna's in the front row with no bra on. You could just see through the shirt. No one's approved anymore. Why? Because you want to fuck Rihanna and you don't want to fuck Lizzo.
Right.
It's that simple for people. People are not that complicated. The problem is they won't admit shit to themselves.
Right.
So now we got to live in their delusion, their projection. And that's
we all have to deal with the aftermath of them.
That's just a thing that I'm always trying to like avoid. I feel like so much of the world now is about deluding people, and it makes people weaker and easy to manipulate. And if you truly want to be your strongest self, you got to be able to stand up 10 toes down and like, this is who I am. This is how I see myself, and how the world sees me is how they see me. And I'm aware of that, but that doesn't get to define who I am to me and how much value I have in myself. So that's the real thing of it, you know. And yeah, Miss Ma, I'm not saying, I'm speaking in generalizations. Maybe they want to fuck Lizzo and they don't like that. Whatever their projection is, that's it. The point being, like, they know it's not socially acceptable to like that Lizzo loves herself and dresses like that, and yet Rihanna can wear less clothes than that, and it is socially acceptable because of how she looks and stuff. So it is, it is what it is. I can't speak to everyone and everything. Obviously, people have different motivations. But yeah, and I don't want to, and I also want to be careful because I didn't want to imply everybody that doesn't like her wants to fuck her, in the same way that, like, I don't want to say everyone who's homophobic is secretly gay. It's just like, or maybe they're just fat phobic and whatever it is, the hang-ups in them is my point.
That's right.
She's existing in her life. It really shouldn't be nobody else's problem. But anyway, that's it for a feedback show. Thanks for listening. I hope y'all enjoyed this on a Tuesday.
Yeah.
We won't have an episode tomorrow because of Hornets game. So we may not do episodes the rest of the week, just so that we're not doing like Wednesday and then a feedback show Saturday. So we'll see we'll play that by ear.
Yeah.
And also I think I have some upcoming like stuff to do. I think I'm gonna be on MC University podcast talking about Endgame. I think that's Wednesday. And
today Monday. Okay.
I'm trying. What's the problem?
Oh, no problem.
What's going on?
No, somebody said Monday, right? Because I think you got your days mixed up.
Today's Monday.
Yes.
Tuesday's a Hornets game.
Yes.
Wednesday, I'm supposed to be on MC University.
Oh, okay.
What did I mess up, guys?
Oh, you said today was Tuesday. No problem.
Oh, I did. I didn't even remember saying that.
No problem.
Okay. Well, guys, I got it wrong. Today's Monday. I guess I got a case of the Mondays. And then Thursday, we may or may not do Balls Deep. Just depends.
Right.
And I think Friday might be Nerd Off. So hopefully be our first one in a couple months or last month. So, all right, y'all. That's it. Until next time. I love you.
I love you too.
Mwah. Bye, everybody. Sorry about getting the days wrong.